Welcome to another Soccer Down Here 1v1. Time to catch up with the Vice President of the Tormenta FC Academy, Brad Nein. And we got some news to talk about here. Some really cool stuff where MLS NEXT announced that South Georgia Tormenta and 4 youth soccer clubs ahead of the 21-22 season, 2021-2022 season, are now part of the early admissions phase. You joined MLS NEXT. Congratulations.
Thanks, John. I appreciate you having us on the show. It's an amazing opportunity for kids in South Georgia, low country of South Carolina, that is going to put us on the map with competing with the best youth soccer players in the entire country. It's really a fantastic something I never thought would come about for this area. And just the hard work we've put in over the last couple of years has really brought the attention from MLS to have a full understanding that our players can compete at that level and have success.
So you never thought something like this would happen, huh?
Didn't think we had enough population. Usually these, the MLS NEXT things happen in big cities like Jacksonville or Atlanta or Charlotte or Baltimore, and what we've been able to do is just do a really good job with the kids we get, training them, getting them to a level where they can compete with the best kids in the country and perform at a high level. And it's finally coming to fruition now. It's such an exciting. Yesterday was such an exciting day for us, and I'm still on cloud 9 with all this, amazing opportunity for not only the kids, but you'd be amazed at the resumes I've already gotten in my inbox of people that want to come in and coach. So it's pretty cool.
Well, okay. So let's get into this a little bit. So for those that don't know about the process and the application and what it takes for Tormenta and other places like Hoover Vestavia, Lufas Athletic, Texas United, Wake Football Club, what's the process like for those that don't know all the machinations to be a part of MLS NEXT? What goes into this? What do you have to do to sit there and be a part of something like this? What's the process?
First steps were, so I have a doctorate in sport management, and you have to fill out the application, which felt like I was rewriting my dissertation. So it's, what you have at the club, the level of coach you can offer, what the facilities are like. We're super lucky to be in streamlined with League One and League Two teams at Tormenta. So that gives us an advantage having that at the end of what we can offer. So after completing the application, it's conversations with the director of coaching from MLS. Also the person that runs the league at MLS, they're based out of New York City. So it's conversations with really smart people about soccer that have a good understanding of what it takes in your area to be part of MLS NEXT. The really neat thing that I'm excited about is it's not just one of these partnerships where they give you admission into the league and then they say, good luck, have fun. We'll see you at the play dates. So they're going to be working with us over the course of the next 5 or 6 months to really help out with MLS branding and marketing. And so we can get the best male players from U13 to U19 all under our organization. So it's going to be a true partnership, and I couldn't be more thrilled about it.
I mean, and it's something that has grown basically over the last decade to get to this point. I mean, there's been a lot of hard work that's gone in, and when we're talking about the footprint that Tormenta is a part of, it's not just, and this is a point that we've made over the years when we've done stuff with Tormenta and followed the growth, it's not just about Bullock County. It's about Jenkins. It's about Savannah. It's about the Low Country. It's about I-16 from Macon to Savannah. It's about that gap space between where you are and Metter and going all the way up to Augusta. There's a big footprint that has grown there. Vidalia, which has been a hotbed for high school soccer over the last handful of years. I mean, there's a big footprint there that has grown over this last decade that you're right there, and you're like the spoke in the wheel for all of this.
Sure, and I'm glad you brought that up. That's one of the really neat processes and also one of the challenges we have, because as far as a challenge, then we have to go out and staff all of the areas with quality, participants. We have to work extremely hard to field teams in those areas that are at the level that we're trying to create. The amazing thing is we can offer quality soccer coaching and a quality soccer program to all of these areas that 10 years ago, most of them, recreation soccer was kind of where you tapped out. You had your recreation soccer that led into your high school soccer. So along with kind of the boom of MLS and the number of franchises they have in MLS now, the boom of USL and how there's a championship and a League One and a League Two that have been created that are some of the, Division One, Division Two, Division Three set up in America. And you put all that together and add in ESPN Plus, where you can watch any game you want to almost any time. And you're creating like a soccer culture that people now have an understanding of what happened on a Saturday morning for us in London, and want to go out and replicate that in the afternoon at their game, at their high level youth game. So it's really something that has taken a big shift over the course of the last 10 years. I mean, when I was growing up, the first professional game I ever watched was the 1990 World Cup. So we're talking just in a short span of time, which is 30 years. Now you can nearly watch any game you want to. And as a country, we're sending so many players to play at high levels now that it's just a matter of time before, it takes over throughout America, with MLS leading the way.
Well, and you mentioned players. I mean, you're looking at folks like James Brighton, Indiana Vasiliev. You've had, academy signees like Tristan Deloach and a couple of the Savannah and Low Country area guys that have been signed into contracts as well. So you're getting those guys that are coming into what Tormenta is doing and then going on. And I think that, in the lower divisions, I think that Tormenta has been somewhat ahead of the curve in this, where you are bringing in players, whether it's through the academy or otherwise, but then you're selling them on and you're getting them to be a part of the whole process when it comes to the sport itself. And I think that it speaks to what Tormenta has done over the last handful of years to fully integrate itself into what the 21st century is when it comes to the sport.
21st century, the modern youth soccer player, right? So we've, 15 years ago, those players that you mentioned, they may have also played football or, done something else. We want kids to play multiple sports. Obviously, at some point you have to make a choice, especially with if you're excelling at one of those sports and you see a big time future in it. We kind of shoot for 12 or 13 to be that where you're going to need to dedicate yourself to, becoming this college soccer player or professional soccer player, if that's the road you want to go down. But people like you mentioned, like Indy and James and Grant, and we had Stephen O'Hearn as an academy contract signing, and Grant Hampton and Tristan. Like those kids weren't around here, 10, 15 years ago. They did multiple things, or they just didn't have the right training to get to that level. So it's been where you see that happening now. I think you're going to see that happening it's going to be more of a common piece, especially my phone rings off the hook now with people moving down from the Northeast with the COVID piece. They realize they don't need to be living in New York City or Baltimore, or DC, or Northern Virginia to have their job. They're doing it from Zoom, and they're moving down to these beautiful areas where the weather is, 12 months a year you're outside, and it's just a great place to live. And they're bringing their kids with them that still want to play high level soccer. And we're going to be here to service those families that are moving down.
And you're looking at different age groups. It's each step of the way, U13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 19. That's a part of this process. I mean, that speaks to a lot of folks that are going to be growing in the sport and can continue to take each and every step in the way. Does it blow you away sometimes when you see the growth and see your emails blow up and you see all of these folks who are sitting there and they notice something that happens through MLS Next? Have you had time to process this, and does it still blow you away that all of this stuff is happening?
It hasn't been processed, honestly. Like, this process started. So I've been the leader of this organization for 2 years, and last summer, GPS, which was a club in Bluffton, kind of disintegrated for various reasons, and we were able to pull in almost 200 players. And within those 200 players, we were able to integrate them into our teams, and really at each age group that grew the depth. So we have 3 teams in every age group for the boys, 13 through 19. So having that depth allows us to, we just don't have one team at the top where everyone's just sitting idly and know they have a spot. Now we can actually have a real, you earn your spot to get to that level. So you're pushing as hard as you can from the second team to try to get to the first team, and from the third team to try to get to the first or second team. And that's that making of growing our numbers, getting the quality coaching in, and then that's really led us to where we're at today, with being able to, we always had the upper echelon players, but you need to make your team with, there's going to be a right back or a left back, and you need central midfielders, and you need different players with different skill sets. And we were able to finally put all that together at the level we wanted to lead into MLS Next, where it made me feel comfortable that it could actually apply and think we could get in.
One of the things that I didn't know is that the Tormenta FC Academy has programs available for kids as young as 2 all the way to the age of 19. Obviously, there's no such thing as introducing something that a child can embrace as early as they want. But
Right.
2, I thought that was really cool. That's a whole part of this process. You're really getting these kids early.
Yeah, so we do a program called Tormenta Futures, where our director named Courtney Colley, she goes out, and she actually grew up in the area and was a big player at Windsor Forest, and went on and played at Armstrong, and did an amazing job there. And she goes out and partners with elementary schools, preschools, and daycares, and we go in and we teach soccer through storytelling. So it's, each day a cone is something different, where it might be a fish you have to save and put in the aquarium, which is the goal that day. So we're doing something at the cone and taking it over to the aquarium, and she has a whole set of sessions and lessons that she does. And we do that in Statesboro, in Savannah, in Hilton Head, in Richmond Hill. We have classes. It's kind of a traveling circus with what we put together at this point. And then off of that, we have a recreation program that, when I took over, there was no recreation program 2 years ago, and we've grown it in Savannah to 400 kids for this upcoming spring, which from 0, and that's ages 4 to 12 at this point, giving kids an opportunity to play. And then in the Hardyville Bluffton area, we have about 50 kids that are in it, leading into academy programming. We call it Junior Academy, which is 8 to 12, where it's kids with professional coaches that are training 2 or 3 days a week and playing games on weekends. And we have teams based in Bluffton, Hilton Head, Savannah, and Statesboro, which eventually feed into our U13 to U19 program. So it's one of those things that has really gained with people becoming aware of what's out there. Social media helps with our advertising. The pro team helps a ton with our advertising, because people are watching them and then wondering where I can put my kid in to make him or her that quality of a player. So it's on top of all that, all our programming is for boys and girls. The MLS Next is only a boys piece, but we also have girls programming as well. So it's a lot to oversee, but it's a blast. I don't know what else I'd be doing. It's my passion.
So what are the next steps in the passion when it comes to MLS Next? What are the next steps to make sure that you guys hit the ground running down there at Tormenta, to make sure that now that you're being added, that you're really getting the full experience?
Yeah, so I'm working closely with my select director, Misa Garzon. He's also the head coach of May River High School on the boys side, which won a state championship prior to COVID, and doing a great job leading in here. But he's he's got us meeting once or twice a week with Ian, the pro coach, and Nick, who's going to be our technical director, and Misa, and we're trying to organize the coaches right now. Obviously, word just went out yesterday, so with that happening, there's been a lot of questions. Nobody quite knows what it's all about. So at this point, it's going to be an educational process for our parents, a marketing process for the surrounding areas to see if we can begin to work with other clubs or other places that don't have clubs and get these elite players all together under the same roof. We believe we have groups that can already compete, but we just want to continue growing that opportunity for kids in every area that want to come in and try to get better. So over the course of the next couple of months, we'll select coaches, continue trying to grow, and then we'll have tryouts in May and start training end of July most likely, and be on the ground running middle of August with games, and a home and away against Atlanta United is going to be pretty exciting. So
no doubt about that. Five months away, and that's going to come on you pretty quick. In the short time since the announcement, where is the furthest away geographically that someone has sent you an email saying, I'm interested in being a part of this?
As far as a coach or a player?
Both.
England. So there's people that, are already seeing it on the social landscape and wanting to come and look to play. I've had two people from Greenville reach out to me that are like, what's going on? This is very interesting, and two from Atlanta as well. So it's it's a regional event now, and in the past one of our goals as a club was to try to get our players to the highest level, and sometimes that meant we had to let go of them. So we've had numerous players that have moved to Atlanta to get in the Atlanta United youth sides. We fully expect that same thing to start happening here in the Savannah, Bluffton, Hardyville area, Hilton Head, and Statesboro, where people are moving to us and, getting this opportunity to play at the highest level.
Well, Brad, we know that 5 months will get here faster than anyone will know. Congratulations once again to Tormenta and the Tormenta FC Academy for joining MLS Next through the early admissions phase. Congratulations. And we know that it's going to be very, very busy for you. Thanks for hanging out with us for a 1v1. Congrats to everybody down there for the Tormenta Magenta in the next stage.
Thanks, John. Look forward to talking to you soon, buddy.